a workshop class. We're going to get ready to gear up for a sci-fi class happening very, very soon. I want to welcome everybody. It's been a while since the Drawing 101 class. And if you take a look at my screen right now, the reason we have this big robot up here is in honor of the sci-fi class. A lot of you, before this recording, heard me rant and rave, but for prosperity's sakes, let me reiterate again what's going on. This big robot on the screen, it was done in a very unique new style that I'm going to debut tonight, later on creating an orc. But if you take a look, it's a good read. I was talking about being a freelance artist. If indeed this is what you want to do, or just being an artist to get into a house job. If you do manga and that's all you do, that's all you're ever going to do. You're going to be competing against everybody that does manga. I strongly recommend always trying to push yourself, find different styles, and be as broad-based of an artist that you can be. So with that, again, I'll explain this whole robot idea later on, the technique, when I do the orc. But this is some of the stuff that we'll be doing in the sci-fi class. So I'm going to exit him out. And bullocks, here we go. Let's try to exit him out one more time. I don't need to save. All right, we have a big white screen, and let's just jump into some stuff. How do you feel about that, Mr. Nelson?
Sure.
Pony Boy! And the reason I say Pony Boy, because if you've not seen his My Pony stuff, Nelson has come a long way. Nelson, he's brilliant. I first got to meet him. He is a coding genius, and I'm not even like putting that lightly. But it was cool to see him marry his logic side to his creative side, and he's really done well. So I'm not for sure how many of you have taken a Drawing 101 class. If you've not taken it, I recommend going back. We always talk about simple shapes. So right now, Mr. Nelson, I'm going to say we're going to do a 5-minute monster challenge. Okay, so everybody, I want you to use your Wacom tablets. I want you to use your pencil, whatever you got, and we're going to do a monster challenge. Now, before we do the monster challenge, Mr. Nelson, you sound like a teacher, Mr. Nelson. I want you to see whoever raises their hand first, and whatever monster they say is the monster we're going to go with. And we got 5 minutes to refine. I'll draw my Wacom tablet here on my screen, and I kind of talk about what I'm doing and my thought process and all that fun stuff there. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
All right, so the first person to raise their hand in class and throw me out a monster, that is what we will all be doing for the next 5 minutes.
Steve Curtis seems to have his hand up.
Oh, Steve! How you doing, buddy? Hey, I thought about your daughter Sid, because apparently there's this big flu epidemic, a stomach virus called Sid virus or Sid something or other, and it made me chuckle. So anyway, with that, what does Mr. Steve say that we should draw tonight?
He wants a cyborg.
Cyborg? He's pushing that sci-fi class, isn't he? All right, ladies and gents, let's talk about a cyborg. What I'm doing, again, I like to traditionally draw on a blue when I start out with things, and I'll do different layers. So my background layer is here. I have to move this little screen over here, and I'm going to hit duplicate layer, and this is the layer that I'm going to work on. So we have 5 minutes to create a cyborg. Some key questions you need to ask yourself about a cyborg. What is a cyborg? Is it going to be a human cyborg, or could it be an animalistic monster cyborg? You're going to make it a male cyborg or female cyborg. I'm going to do a dude cyborg. So I'm testing my pen out, and I'm going to probably turn my opacity down to around 48. Hit enter, and I'm just going to go nice and loose. I'm going to create the big base of the chest, my center line. I'm going to come down here like this. Someone's trying to get a hold of me on Facebook, I think. And again, the way I learned is by watching people. We're going to do kind of a humanistic cyborg. And obviously, I'm running out of space, so I'm going to do a big marquee, hit Control-T. I'm going to move my guy up here like this. Bring this down, lengthen them up a little bit. And I'm happy with that. Hit Enter. Control D to deselect, and I'm back at my thing. It'd help if I got the brush tool back. I hit B for brush. Big old circles for the arms. Coming in down here for his stomach. Let's give him kind of a superhero looking menacing pose. I am the cutest of Borg. Life, as you know, is over. Resistance is futile. And later on tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to... his crotch is a little long. Later on tonight, we're going to talk about anatomy and physiology and all that fun stuff about the human face, because we're going to make... Hey, Mr. Nelson, are you like timing this? Because I'm not.
No.
Okay, Mr. Nelson's going to start timing this. All right, that's one little quick layer. Hit another layer. Come back to layer 1. My opacity is going to go down a little bit. I'm switching to a darker color here. I got my base outline, what I want to do. And I'm going to zoom in here for a good read. A lot of it's going to be dealing with silhouettes, but let's do a good read to the face here. I'm giving the classic, I am a superhero, like strong jaw. Some sort of circle gadget thing here. Connects to the eye. Let's give him a nose. Some sort of rebreather thing here. Human eye. Little ear going on. This is number 5 here. Some sort of chest thing here. Some tubes that go around. Here like this. Yes, pectoral muscles coming in here. I'm going to darken it up a little bit more. Turn my opacity up a little bit more so I can get a better read. There we go. Again, this is just a good way to sketch some ideas down. Some shoulder looking pad things. Some more tubes going around. Bicep, tricep. Tubes. In honor of Mr. Nelson. Some sort of big weapon system. His hand here. It's all brought together straps. We'll give him some sort of armor plating here. Bicep, tricep, flexor muscles. You know, I thought about putting some cylinders and circuits around there, but that would kind of suck if you have to move your arm around a lot. So let's come up to here. Tell you what, we'll just darken this up. And mess my levels, image, adjustment levels. There we go. So you guys can see it a little bit better as well. Hit my brush tool again. You know, let's do this. Let's give him a third arm through here. Another hand. Futuristic looking weapon here. Hit the quads, make him look all robot-y. His knees. Feet. More solenoids, what have you. How much time we got left, Mr. Nelson?
You said 5 minutes.
Roger that.
You got about a minute left.
All right, let's see here. Control T. Here we go. I got an idea. We'll throw a little bit of color down. New layer. Come up to layer 2. Get my brush tool back. And let's make this a multiply layer, pardon me. Go back down to here and you kind of see what's going on. I don't like that. Poop on a cracker. What we do for that? Make my brush a little smaller. Some circuits going through here for a reader color. And I probably should be talking, saying something cool.
Okay, I'd say your time's about up.
All right. That's a very down and dirty looking cyborgish looking thing. And my idea of a cyborg, I always think of the Borg. I hear cyborg, Borg. But as a concept artist or an artist, you know, we really need to get out of that sort of mindset. So next time, I'm not going to draw a human. This will be my personal challenge. I'm going to draw some sort of monster or some sort of dog-like creature. So that's my screen. It's down. It's dirty. It's got some cool reads. I gave him an extra arm. You can see the gear and stuff. We need to straighten them up a little bit more. But I think it's a good read. It's a good, quick thumbnail that you could, you know, you would probably do about 10 of these different looks and put them all in a spreadsheet or a character sheet. And then you give it to the art director, like, I like this part of this one sucks, I don't like that, this is good. Then you combine everything that they like. So is everyone ready to show me what you guys got? Any hands up, Mr. Nelson?
Looks like we still have Steve up, but looks like about it. Nope, his hand just went down.
What? All right. Also, they're kicking that the teeth. Steve, put your hand back up. Take his screen right now. He's done. This is his baby. We got to see his screen.
He says Photoshop's on a different computer.
Well, again, a kick in the teeth. Who else is ready to show what they got?
Leonard's computer died.
Well, bullocks. Anybody else?
Saturn doesn't have drivers installed for her tablet. So many excuses, guys.
Nelson, can you give me some good news?
I don't know how.
Did you save a lot of money by switching to Geico?
No, actually, I got a quote once, and it wasn't a very appealing quote.
What? Okay. All right, so do we have anybody else that can... how about this? Let's open up for some questions then. We can do that. Does anybody have a mic they want to talk? Elvis has left the building. Good night, everyone.
Is anybody awake?
All right, then, you know what? We'll do one more challenge. They can watch me work as long as you guys are working at home. And again, feel free to email me at Stevens, Stevens, D as in Delta 71 at gmail.com, or post them on 3DBuzz website. I'd love to see what you're working on. We'll do one more quick challenge. How's that?
Alrighty.
Steve, you disappoint me, man. That's all I got to say. All I got is take this out here. You guys, oh, what is all that? Well, that is another story altogether. We'll do a new 200 DPI, width 25, height 25 inches. We get ourselves a square. We'll do a new layer going back to a light blue. All right, let's do one more challenge. All right, Space Monkeys, you better be doing this. You know what's happening? We just got punked, Nelson.
Huh.
I think we've been punked. The Queen of England's like, oh, only number 2. Ah. All right, let's start another challenge. Lord knows you don't want me to do a challenge, do you? Because if no one raises their hand, I'm just going to throw out a challenge myself.
Anyone got a hand? People. Hello. And Steve seems to be the only person who knows how to raise his hand.
Well, obviously he doesn't know how to like get Photoshop working at the same time, but that's all right, Steve. I forgive you. All right, let's do one more challenge from Mr. Steve.
He wants a female wolf creature thingy.
Female wolf creature thing. What I would do is, I do like pull up some research on the net about what a wolf looks like and all this sort of stuff. But on the fly, a female wolf type creature. All right, is everyone ready? Are you going to set the timer?
Yep. And
all right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Here we go. Again, I'm going to make a little action line through here. Now, women's body are a lot different. I got to scratch my eye, pardon me. I have to pull it out. I have 2 glass eyes. That's why sometimes I can't see what's going on. But anyway, women's bodies are a lot different than guys. They're more hourglass shape. And they have bigger hips. So I'm going to come in through here like this. Not really baby birthing hips. But their legs are thin, somewhat muscular. And we'll put her out here like she's raging against the machine. And with women, their curves are all subtle. That's why usually I start out when we do drawing classes, I talk about guys' anatomy. I'll do some knees right through here. Bullocks, get out of there. Okay. The breasts are teardrop shaped, okay? And, we don't want to make it like she's a porn star or anything like that. So, a lot of guys can like circles. I got to get the circles right. You don't have to have perfect and first rough draft. What I like to do is again, simple shapes. Letter C here, letter C through here. And our head, chin, not predominant as like a dude for the traps. Deltoids. A little tail going on. Alright, so let me create another layer real quick. I'm going to come in for darker color through here, and then we'll get down busy and dirty. That sounds bad. Let me ghost this image out just a little bit through here. Come back to this layer here. Control Z there. Alright, here we go. Again, I'm going to concentrate on the head. Some cheekbones. Some hair, a little bit of ears going on right through here. Give it a little earring. Even in werewolf creatures, for women, I love the clavicle bone right through here. It means that you have low body fat percentage. I guess there's some heavier set heroes. It's different patches of hair. Bring the waist in a little bit more. Belly button because it's sexy. Fingers. Thumb, finger. Sharp toenails, and the reason I'm drawing the nails and the toes, not only is it a cool, good read, but if you do any research for cats and dogs, Cats can retract their claws, so sometimes they're showing, sometimes they're not, but a canine's claws are always showing. Let's broaden my brush a little bit more here. How are we doing on time, Mr. Nelson?
Got about 30 seconds left.
Oh, crap on the cracker, okay. That moon needs some serious work.
Alrighty.
All right. A wolf female type creature, and then you got kind of a look on anatomy. So there you have it. There you are. Can anybody show me their wolf creature?
Yep, raise your hands if you want to jump over to your screen. And whenever I say that, hands seem to go down. Steve, is your hand up still? Well, it is up, but do you want us to jump over? Also, he wants to know what your email is.
It is sexyman at, no, I'm teasing. It is Stevens, STEVENS, D's and Delta, 71 at gmail.com. All right, so there's a down, dirty, really quick werewolf. Okay, if I was an art director, I'd come in here and let me get a red pen here. Because I've had instructors do this, and it sucks. But, you know, it happens. I come in here and go, this pose here sucks. I mean, it's good, but look, I have no real read on the face right through here. Close up, I can tell it's some sort of wolf creature. But ideally, I'd probably want to make it more dynamic. Maybe do a side view so you see, you know, the wolf's head is coming at this area right through here with the eyes, and have it crouched down some sort of way. You can see a little bit of an indicator where the breast is at. And then you have the legs. They're kind of hunched back through here. Maybe they're eating something. I'm eating Kentucky Fried Chicken. Something like that. Or do a combination where the head's turned 3/4 of a pose. And that's the beauty of doing something with a 5-minute challenge. You guys are going to get used to speed. And, I mean, again, going back to freelance, speed is life, speed is money. So do we have any questions?
Anybody got questions?
This is a tough audience tonight, dude.
Yeah.
Questions, comments, anything.
Steve's trying to log into another computer.
Gotcha. All right, so here's what we're going to do then. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to start talking about anatomy of the face. And someone keeps texting me. If you're on 3DBuzz and you're texting, I can't go over to you right now. So the best way to get a hold of me is through Mr. Nelson right now. So again, I'm working at 200 DPI, 25 by 25. I'm going to take my brush. I'm going to do a light blue, layer 1 background. Let's go ahead and duplicate that layer right here. All right, so what we're going to do is draw a male's face, and we're going to booger them all up and make him look like a zombie. And the simplest way to make a face is literally, you guys have been practicing your Wacom, even not without the Wacom, you can practice at home just by, let me change my opacity because that looks really, really sloppy. Go back down to like 40, 39, going like this. There I am, just a circle, make it a little more oval with each round shape. That's all I'm doing right here. And when I first started drawing like a straight-on shot, because that's one of the simplest shots that we're going to do. Later on in other classes, we're going to talk about quarter face shots. We're going to do worm's eye views, top eye views, all sorts of cool things. But right now, we're going to stick with the basics because I want you guys to feel successful. So we're going to do a little oval shape. So I want you guys to do an oval shape just like this. I'll give you a few seconds as I drink my adult beverage here. And by adult beverage, I mean coffee with lots of caffeine. Say it's an espresso. Okay, we have this oval shape. I'm confident that everyone's caught up. But right now, I'm going to make a solid, almost a straight line down through here. Okay, this is where he's going to have a strong, strong chin. And from here, if you follow this all the way around here like this, again to the other side like this, it's almost like you're connecting the dots. Like that. And from here, I'll make a couple lines. Oops. Let me do a step backwards. Down here like this for the neck. That's not really important, but I don't like a head floating in space. It's kind of scary. So we did the oval. Nice, simple oval shape. We created the straight chin down through here, almost a V pattern connected here. If you notice the neck muscles, now not every hero and women exact, unless you're the She-Hulk or some orc female, they don't have the muscles that come from here to here. So what we're going to do is we have this basic shape right here. And again, we're just going to continue on this screen, this layer, just cutting in some detail. Now what I want you guys to do, guys and gals at home, is if you touch the corner, I say corner of your eye, not the middle of it because that would hurt. If you run your finger from the corner of your eye back to your ear, hold on, you're going to find out that's basically where your ear is going to start. So what I'm going to do is make my ear this shape here. Now what you guys can do, and gals, from here, hold shift, oops, don't do that, shift here to the other side. So that's where you want it, the other top of the ear. I'm going to hit Control Z because I don't want, well, here, let's just leave that line in there for you guys. There we go. So that's the top of the ears going to go. I put another one right here. Now, scientifically, things have been broken down. Angelina Jolie, I love her. I think she's hot. My wife thinks she's a skink. I think she is too. But she's symmetrical. Whenever we do something, pretty people, and even babies, they've done tests with this in psychology, yada, 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 are more attracted to people with good symmetry. Not to be confused with ghosts and goblins in the symmetry. That's how you Australians say it, in the symmetry. We want things to be even on both sides, and we're going to make this rendering. We might as well do it right. So we're going to have some nice symmetry. So we have the ears matching up here, the ears matching down here, simple shapes, almost like elongated. The letter C is in cat, C is in Charlie if you're military. And right here, what we're going to do, so since we have this guideline from here to here, we're going to drop down just a little bit. Again, depending on the style, I'm not going to do a true manga style. I like to draw an American fusion style, so I'm not going to have huge eyes. But if I come from here, I drop down from this angle here. I'm going to hit Shift, just drag this over here like this. This is ideally where I want my eyes to be, right around this line here and here. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you. For the lines, I learned this from Jim Lee. Great artist. Again, it's just another simple shape. You're going to come here like this. And for a comic book style, that's all you have to do is make indicators. Because we're not going to draw all the folds in the eyes. I mean, if you look at yourself in the mirror, we have lots of folds. I'm 41. I got folds, believe me. But I don't want to draw all these folds here because I'm going to make this dude look really super old. And that's not the goal. So again, from these guidelines here, my eyes are going to come just a little bit below and connect right here. So I'm going to scoot. I'm going to say at least an eye width apart. And I'm going to use my tool here to show you from start to finish. And I'm not able to do that. Obviously, I am not a Photoshop expert yet. Bullocks. We'll edit that out later, Mr. Nelson. Hit Control D. I wish you could see me point to my screen, but I'm literally measuring my eye width from here to here. From here to here is about an eye width, I guess, length away. I'm at my V tool again. So from here to here, I measure one eye length, and roughly this is where the other eye is supposed to start. So again, trying to do symmetry. This line here and this line here is almost perfect. So I have indicators where my eye is going to go. Now raise your hand if you guys are caught up, because I don't want to go too fast. So you let me know, Mr. Nelson, when everyone's caught up.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of hands.
No, it's all good. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to make this guy pretty to show you anatomy and symmetry and all that stuff. In this layer, he's going to look nice. I'm going to create another layer, ghost this out, and then we're going to move things around and booger him up and make him look like a zombie. That is my goal. Because The Walking Dead returns February the 10th, 2013, and I've got to find out what happens to Daryl. That's all I got to say. As people are catching up, have you played The Walking Dead? You probably don't have time. The new video game?
No.
This little girl named Clementine, man. It is such a great game because you're put in between a rock and a hard place. There's a lot of times in this game you have to make decisions that suck both ways. And there's limited time. There's a timer going on, and it's like maybe 10 seconds. Now, if you and I were to count 10 seconds right now, it would be an eternity because we don't have a lot of people talking back to us. But that game, oh my God, that 10 seconds goes by so fast. And my wife is like into this. She's like, you got to do this, you got to do this. And I'm like, what button do I push? What button? Anyway, great game. So this is why we're doing the zombie thing in honor of The Walking Dead. How's everybody doing?
We got 2 hands up.
Okay.
So I think that's some people are having some difficulties following along, or they're just not set up to, or something.
What I want you guys to do, whoever's in class right now, because this is your class, this is your workshop, go ahead and throw a couple of questions out. I want you to say, hey, I need some more time, or no, I'm good, I just can't show my screen, yada, yada. I want communication, because I want you guys to be able to get this. If I need to repeat something, I don't mind doing that at all, because this is your time. I want to make you guys and gals, better artists. All right, I guess there's no questions.
Why not use BuzzNet? Well, you guys are free to use BuzzNet as well. I suppose. I don't know. Hands work too. But anyway, you can use smoke signals, carrier pigeons. I don't care what you got to do. I want to make sure that I'm here for you and give you the right answers and all that sort of stuff. So what we're going to do now is we're going to draw nose and lips. Now, if I make my nose up here, it's almost like a bird flying. He looks more cat-like. The nose doesn't go there, okay? So I'm going to Control Z. And if you look around at you, I mean, people are in different shapes all the time. So there's no right, wrong, rhyme, or reason, but be justified if someone's like, why is his nose up there? Well, he's a monster, he's this. You have to have clarification on all your drawings. So again, what I'm going to do is, this is the baseline. People aren't going to see this creation here. This is kind of like the wireframe if you're going into animation. And then you can tweak vertices, yada, yada, yada. So what we're going to do here, in between this eye and this eye, I'm going to make a letter N, like this. We're going to call that the upper part of the nose. And ideally what we want is from here, hold on. That line is so not straight, or my drawing's not straight, to cut up the whole face. Again, in symmetry, we need to put this a little bit bigger and this a little bit smaller. Anyway,
We have this line down here, so we at least we have a guideline. So what I want to do now is, I like the bird analogy. You guys drawn birds before when you're little kids, like, look at me, caw, caw, I'm flying. Again, this is a straight-on shot, right? So what we're going to do is after the bird's flying, we're going to do another little bird. Let me darken this up for you so you can see a little bit better. Come through here like this. Let's follow along up here like this a little bit more. Another bird on top. And what I like to do personally is I like to make this little indicator. It's just a little triangle for like a highlight or a part of the nose. And then what I'll do is from here, I guess this is another cool trick and tip that it took me a long time to learn. We don't have his eyebrows in yet, but what I'm going to do is come up here after this little highlight I make, and I'm going to come up here like this. It's going to follow his eyebrow line, like that. And then I can take my little eraser tool and break it up just a little bit. But it's a good indicator where the bridge of the indication where the nose is at, and it follows the bone structure. And we don't have to get super detailed, but we can put another indicator right through here, follow where his eyebrows are going to go, make them bushy, and come down here like that. Now you can do all sorts of cool things with Photoshop. You get your marquee tool, you can come in here, select this area, hit Control-T, like, I don't know if I like the nose that big. Maybe I'm going to come in here, I'm going to shrink it down, and I can move it over here like that. Or maybe I want the nose, nah, that's not right. So I hit Control-Z. And again, this is Photoshop stuff. The main rule of drawing is you draw lightly. Second rule of drawing is you draw lightly. Because drawing on paper, you have those ghost lines, you can't erase them. So if you're drawing on paper, make sure you're drawing lightly. Ideally, whenever I do comic books, I used to start in blue like that because I didn't have Photoshop. But Photo Blue doesn't photograph or doesn't copy. So those are really nice guidelines to have. So you can make all these scribble lines and you can come back later on with a real graphite pencil and lay down your foundation for something good. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to draw our lips, okay? Now, for a guy's lip, we're going back to the bird analogy. Now, where's his lips? Is he going to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger? He's going to have his lips like bullocks. I need to hit my brush tool. Mr. Nelson, don't let me do that again.
Okay.
Hit me upside the head if I need to. Now, his lips going to be like, oh, I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. He got nothing. Here's my big old chin, sort of thing. I'm stepping backwards for you guys. Stepping backwards. Because I can do that. And again, draw lightly. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. And I'm going to draw bird's wings like this. Like he's flying. And maybe make him a little bigger. Again, raising hands. God, I've been in the South too long. Raising your hand. Raising your hands. Raising your hands. I want to make sure you guys are caught up. Or carrier pigeon. Or buzznet. Whatever you got to do.
All right. If anybody needs more time, just say something in buzznet.
My chair literally just broke. I'm not lying. I'm not a big guy, but this is a crappy chair. My chair just broke. All right. I have a new chair now.
All right. Doesn't look like we have any questions, so...
All right. What we're going to do here is after we made this bird-like area here, Let me zoom in here for you guys. I'm going to come up through here, make my brush a little bit lighter. So very close for the upper lip like this. Again, this is a very certain style American fusion. So it's just a small indicator of where the lip's at. Now, I mean, we could come back after this and make, I got huge lips, but then he looks like a girl. We don't really want to do that. But we can give an indicator. Again, let me do this. Let me make it a different color. I need to select next time, Mr. Nelson. Select my red. Ideally, this is where how the muscles and the bones are going to, I guess, lay. But this is not what we want to do because he'll look like a girl. So let me go back to a darker color like this. So we know that's where it's going to go, but for a guy, all we really need to do is show this bottom area right through here. So I guess the theme for today is birds. Birds' wings. Nice loops, not loops, but help me out, Mr. Nelson. What is this shape? It's a curve.
Curve.
There you go. And we'll give him a little butt right here. You know those guys with the butt chin? A little indicator here, and maybe a smirk right here. So when we come back here like this, it's starting to take shape. It's looking like a guy, kind of, sort of. Now again, for American fusion, these guys have very strong jaw lines and very low body fat. So what we're going to do is from the middle of the ear, not up here, not down here, but from the right here. So they're come down. Let me thicken my line weight so you guys can see this a little bit better. Come down here like this, again from the middle. Come down like this. Now here's where I can't say it gets tricky. If I draw a solid line, it looks like he's a robot, but I can give an indicator from the chin here, where this would ideally go. Come in like this. Come in like that. Again, it gives the impression of a very nice, strong jawline. Very low body fat. The dude is buff. And now we'll finish up her ears. If you look in an ear, I've drawn a lot of night elves from Warcraft, and I literally, every time I do that, I have to look at the shape of the ear because it's so elongated. But with normal humans, all I do is draw indicators. I start down here, and I make almost like a reverse S, like that. So we know that he's got some ears. We got some shapes going on through here. So we got the eyebrows going on, and we have the ears. Last but not least, let's give him a little bit of hair. And we can do all sorts of things with guys' hair, but you want to make it look like Justin Bieber? I'm teasing, I want to do that too. What we're going to do here is simple shapes. There's no right, wrong, or rhyme or reason, but I like to pick the simple shapes. Now I have to decide where his hairline is going to go. We don't want to start the hairline down here because unless you're a werewolf or some sort of freak, you don't have a hairline down all the way there. And if you're like me, you have no hairline at all because you're bald. So what I like to do is I pick a spot. This would be my focal point right here. And from here, I'm just drawing some shapes. And again, from here, what I'm going to do is draw some simple shapes. Again, my focal point is here. Give him some bangs, simple shapes. And through here. So now we have a guy and a layer. Where you guys are working on paper, you guys have very light lines or maybe working with a blue pencil. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new layer, and just because we always name our layers, we'll say line drawing. Hello, my name is Simon and I like to do drawings. 10 points and a gold star for anybody who can raise their hand and tell me where that comes from. We need some sort of class participation. Anybody? Take a guess.
Silent.
Silent lucidity. Wow, this is a tough crowd tonight, Mr. Nelson.
Indeed.
Indeed. All right, we have our ghost figure here, all right? They didn't even guess. I mean, I would give a gold star to... Well, Darth Vader said that. I like to do drawings. He didn't say that, obviously. All right. For those who are wondering, it comes from Michael Myers from Saturday Night Live. And obviously the guy's name is Simon, who draws in the bathtub and he pretends to be a kid. All right, so I made another layer here, and I'm just going to choose that layer. I've ghosted out this a bit, and I'm going to hit a dark area right through here. And now what I can do is, if I chose, I can come through here. Hold on, let me put my opacity up like this. And I can start making some harsh lines and line weight variation and all that fun stuff that we've learned from Drawing 101. But what we're going to do is we're going to make a zombie. Okay? And I'm going to say this zombie's been dead for a while. Is that cool with you? Because, I mean, it's no fun drawing a fresh corpse, right?
Sure.
I mean, unless there's like a knife or a gun wound or something like this. And, of course, we want to make them spooky looking. So let's concentrate on the eyes. I've already selected my deep dark black right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this eyebrow ridge. And again, I'm on a new layer so I don't mess that up. Coming in through here like this. And I'll even make my brush a little bit bigger. And through here like this. All I did was trace it. I'm connecting it. Now I could be like Robin or whatever if I wanted to. I'm coming down here to put some bags, circles, under the eyes. And what we can do is, you can use your eraser tool if you're working in Photoshop. And what I'll do is I'll come down here, really small brush width, which is a 15. I'll put it down to a 10. I can come back in here, start making some of those cool folds I was talking about earlier. Through here to start making them look boogering up. Now if I take this layer 1 off, all you're going to see is this. Again, layer 1 is only, it's our base, and we can do anything we want with the base. So I show my layer again, going about symmetry again. I'm going to hit my brush tool, and let's go ahead and make this guy's eye over here the same. I'm tracing along this area right here where the eye's at, bringing it down here. Giving him some bags, some little stimples. We'll bring it all the way up to the eyebrows through here. And I'm going to hit my eraser tool again. And come back in here and give him some lines that are not natural by any means. Get my brush tool again. Let's sharpen this eye a little bit more down. Okay, so we got some zombie eyes going on, right? Hit my eraser tool again so I can kind of booger around. We can make him bleeding from his eyes if we wanted to. We're not going to do that just yet. Hit my brush tool again. All right, let's talk about lighting, okay? So zombies, you know, they're scary, right? And Drawing 101, we talked about all sorts of stuff with lighting. The way I'm picturing this guy is, hold on, let me come down here to layer 1. The way I'm picturing this guy here is the light source is coming right here. So all through here, let me get a different color. All this area through here is going to be lit up, all right? And so my shadow area is going to be coming through this area or through here. So what I want to do is I'm really going to start boogering this side up to make him really deep in shadow. And what I'm going to do is take my brush tool, it's back on black, And some of the things you can't see is the scariest. So I can really just, and if you have an ink pen, you can go crazy with it. Or if you're going to use pencil, go ahead and pencil it in. Put your shading in first, before you ink. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back through here.
You sure you want to be on layer 1?
You are awesome, Mr. Nelson. You get a gold star for making sure I didn't mess that up. But I did. All right, thank you, Mr. Nelson. Going back to layer, my line drawing layer. Thank you. I'm going to come up through here. And I'm really just going to trace over everything. And I'll give here some spot blacks and through here. Now notice I'm not coming all the way out here. I'm just still keeping on my main dude here. Like this. And we know this whole side is going to be in shadow. So let's go ahead and draw this here, even the area of the nose. And let's give him a small indicator of light. Let me bring my brush stroke down just a little bit. A triangle like here to show where some light's at. I'm going to come up here. And all I'm going to do is continue to color this in. Now we can get some highlights here wherever the veins are popping out at. And we can have fun with our eraser tool, because in Photoshop you have all these different tools at your disposal. Let's pick this obscure brush here and we'll pump it up a little bit. Another cool trick, this whole layer thing, because I have this layer chosen, what I like to do is when I do actual coloring and rendering for like finished product, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll save things in mid-tones, and then I'll go to my dark tones, and each one of these will be in a layer, because a cool trick to use is your filter, coming up to blur, and then you can do a Gaussian blur. If you look, too much blur. I can bring this down a little bit more. These are kind of a nice spooky sort of look. Sort of here. So now if I turned this layer off here, this is all we got so far. And it's looking pretty darn cool. I like it. What do you think, Mr. Nelson? Lie and tell me you like it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Right, so how's everybody doing so far? We're doing fantastic, Mr. Derek. It's awesome. I wish I could talk all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we have any questions. Leonard's doing well. Ray's doing great.
Steve back yet?
Yeah, he says his kids are doing fantastic.
Really? It was funny. He got a hold of me on Facebook. He's like, I'm trying to talk Angela into doing the family pack. But it's really cool, seriously, that you're doing this with your kids. Stuff that I'm doing, with the exception of a couple projects, I can't show my kids. They're 7 and 3. They freak them out. So, all right, going back to this layer here, my line drawing. I've got my ear. Now, if I did it solid black, and I'm going to do most of it solid black, but I want to have some indicators. I'm going to trace this line, bullocks. Trace this line up here where I made the ear. Then I'm going to leave a highlight. Let's do a little bit right here where the ear is at. And then maybe in through here with the shape right there, more of the ear. And you can have fun. You can play around with it. Because what's going to happen is trace your lines where you made the ear. If I turn the layer off, it's looking more like an ear. And then we'll mess with our levels and all that stuff here in a little bit. So we have some good indicators of where all the shadows is going to go and all that stuff. He's definitely looking not human. So that is cool. All right, so we got his mouth closed. So let's have some fun with that, because you don't have to stick with your base model. So what I'm going to do, back on my line drawing, I'm going to pump down my little brush a little bit, bring my opacity up to like 82, hit enter, And let's leave some of the mouth open here where we have it. But let's get some crooked teeth. Like, hello, I'm from North Carolina. Got some teeth problems here. And let's do a little indicator down here like this. Let me zoom in here for you guys and gals. So I can come back through here where the lip's at. Like this. Let's do another tooth. And through here like this. And now what we're going to do, let's do a couple more smaller teeth and through here. Again, have fun. Let's do a sharp canine tooth, because they'll say, is he a zombie vampire? Who knows? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pump up my brush stroke, or my brush size, come in here, color through all the teeth like this. Follow this around here, what we made. A little bit of the butt head or the butt chin. And what I need to do is I need to take all this through here and bring it down like that. So again, I'm going to mess with my brush. I'm going to bring it up like this. Scoot them back a little bit. Turn this layer off. We got some cool stuff going on here. I like it. All right, going back to the base model. Let's work this a little bit more. Again, once we're done, I'm going to mess with my levels to kind of even everything out. What we're going to do, I've never seen a happy zombie, maybe when they're eating. But if you look at a mirror, and a lot of artists, animators, have mirrors with them. Get a mirror, small mirror, because it's always cool to see if anybody's a vampire around you, because they don't show the reflection unless they're lost. What is it, Twilight? And then they just sparkle, but we won't even go there. So you have all these muscles in right through here, the bridge of the nose area. So let's do some indicators of this. I'm going to make a curve area right through here, leave some highlights where this area is crinkled up. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to straight line here, bring it down here like this, where the bridge of the nose is supposed to be. And I'm going to take my brush size down. And the way you guys are going to do this with your pencil is you're going to have to make several passes at different line weight variations. With the brush stuff, it's kind of cool because I just have to hit a button. Okay, and remember, all this light's coming in through here, so I definitely want to keep the shading in through the eyes. I'm going to do indicators of the nose right through here. Bring this up like this. Color the nose in about here. Turn this layer off, see how it looks. We're getting there. And let's do this, the fold in the skin. And the best guy that I've seen represents this is Wolverine. Where you flare out your nose, because he's kind of an older guy, you have this fold right here. So what we want to do is this fold, his body's rotting. So this is going to be deeper in shadow. And this is going to be sunken in. So let's go ahead and indicate that. Let's give a small partial shadow and through here like this. We got that going on. And let's make an indicator where his jawline's at. Now, we drew that here originally, from here to here. But because he's kind of rotten, I'm going to pump this up. I'm going to curve this out. Bring it down like this. And same thing down here. And then I'm going to connect my chin. Here we go for that. Let's bring some more of the eye area up through here. And we don't really need this eyebrow, but let's give him part of the eyebrow, shall we? I'm going to bring this down here. All I'm doing is boogering it around. There's no rhyme, right, wrong, or reason to it, like this. But what I'm going to do take my eraser tool, and I'm going to make an indicator a line right through here. So now what we can do is we can start putting some scar tissue through here. Like, you know, he might have got his eye messed up. So since we're here, let's kind of even things out. I'm going to go to my adjustment tool. I'm going to go to my levels. And start messing around with some stuff. And if that doesn't work, you have brightness and contrast, or you can use your burn tool. All I'm doing is darkening some things up through here. All right, so we got this really cool texture of the skin and the eyes and stuff through here. We've got this going on. Turn our layer back through here. How's everybody doing so far?
I don't see any questions. Cyber's
right,
doing good.
What we're going to do here now is, again, the mirror is awesome because you can start seeing all the folds and stuff in your forehead and your face. If you start crinkling this area up through here, let me do an erase tool through here. Again, no real rhyme or reason to it. Get my brush tool back here. Now, here's rhyme to reason of this indicator right here. If you zoom in right through here, what I'm going to do is make some smaller lines to indicate that he's got his eyebrow raised a little bit. And, you know, he's kind of rotting. Got some of this going on through here. Again, this is the light source, so you want to keep things relatively simple on this side through here. Like this. And for the eye, we'll worry about the eye here in a little bit. And for right now, instead of all this hair and stuff, this is going to make this guy bald. So I don't have to go into all the layers and talking about this layer for the hair and this here. There we go. Kind of follow things around. Hit my brush tool. I'm going to bring my brush up a little bit more. Again, the light's going to be affecting part of this head, so it's not going to be a solid shadow right through here. But I'm thinking the shadow is probably going to be at least to this area right through here. And let's turn this off. We got some cool stuff going on through here. I'm liking it a lot. So back to our base model, so to speak. I'm going to bring my brush tool down here. Remember, he has the ear. I'm actually going to trace along here like this. These are our solid lines. Now, it's not going to be the same as this here because this is deep in shadow. So a lot of this is going to be light, but there's still some crevices in here that we can hit and make bold. Nice harsh black. And then bring my line width through here. Let's go ahead and give him a neck like this. Let's have some fun with our big paintbrush again. I'm going to push it on up, and the head in through here, there's going to be some shadows casting down, even more dynamic because he's a zombie. So I'm literally just going to paint through here like this. Say he's got a shirt on. And let me make my erase tool because I'm not really fond of this solid line right here. And what might be a cool effect is if we leave this whole area just total white. See what it looks like. What we can do here now is put little indicators instead of a solid line. Again, it really depends on what style you're going through for. So I'm going to pick a brush tool that is feathered. And brush, come on. Control Z, let me make sure I did the right thing, which I did not. That was my erase tool. Mr. Nelson needed to catch that. Some crow's feet for the eyes. All right, turn this off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this layer altogether. Oh, bullocks. Layer is gone. I think we got something kind of cool looking. I need to work on the nose a little bit, this and that. I'm going to take this layer here. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to duplicate it one more time. See if this works. Normal. Multiply. Again, I'm not a Photoshop genius. But here we go. Okay, I got some cool stuff going on here. Let's go ahead and pick. I just messed stuff out. Let's go ahead and pick a deadish color. Brush. Okay, and if I did this right, doing my brush tool and through here, let me bring the opacity down just a little bit. All I'm doing is painting along. You guys can use Prisma markers at home, whatever you guys may have. Let's throw another tone on there just because. And again, you should paint from light to darkest. So that is going to be my light. We're going to bring it down here for a little more dark. Let's do some indicators where the eye is at, nose is at. Bring this through here. Have fun. And again, I'm not going through all the layers and saving this and that, but we will here when we make our orc. To make his skin look more translucent, get kind of a blue. Let's go back and change our brush to a solid. Come down through here like this. Start kind of giving him a veiny look. How's everybody doing so far?
Looks like everybody's doing good. Steve pointed something out. Did you intend to duplicate that layer?
That was a mistake.
Okay.
I'm just rolling with it.
You what?
I said I'm just rolling with it. Nice, small, little blue, dead-looking eyes. Let's go back through here again. And a black source. And let's have some fun with some reds now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the opacity of my brush down to like the 30s. Enter. Bring this up here like this. Let's start giving some blood and not so healthy sort of looks. Like this guy's been feeding a little bit. Anyway, that's a very quick down and dirty, I guess sort of like throwing a couple different lessons all at one for you guys by drawing the base of a human face with, our indicators and our landmarks for a face, and then discussing where the lighting's going to come from, a little bit of fun with the colors and shapes. And again, this is not by any means what you need to do for post. Let's go ahead and flatten this image, adjust, levels now. You have all sorts of fun with it. Give them a small Gaussian blur. Filter, filter, filter. Blur, blur, blur. I don't want them all blurred out like that because you can't see anything. But if you look really closely from here, if I give them a small blur, he starts to look even more cool. And then what you can do now is, for that concept sort of look, I like to use browns. Actually, let's use a gray on this guy because I don't want him to be confused with his dead skin. And I'm just going to come in through here like this. Trace around it like this. And voila, you got a quick concept for a zombie guy.
Nice. Looks good.
Thank you. Let's open it up for some questions.
Alrighty. How about this? We've actually been going on for a little bit over an hour. So, how about we go ahead and pause the video and then give people a chance to submit questions, and then we'll get started back up.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
Alrighty. And back.
All right, ladies and joins and ladies of all shapes and sizes, yours truly here, Derek T. Stevens of 3DBuzz.com. We just went over basic anatomy of a straight-on shot of a guy, creating landmarks, talking about lighting, and burgering him up to make him look like a zombie. Later on in the sci-fi class that will be coming up very, very soon, there's a new style that I'm exploring. So you guys at the workshop get to see this live, so I really hope I don't screw this up. But it's a possibility because we are live. I want you guys to watch along. I want you guys to ask questions. I'll be talking about this again in sci-fi class, but silhouettes are so strong because, say you got a character running around and all you see is a small blip on the screen. People need to be able to indicate, well, oh, that's an orc, that's a troll, that's this. So shapes, armor, their looks, the way they move, it's all tied into the silhouette. And this style here, what we're going to do is we're going to build a silhouette first by scribbling. And what I like to do is I make my background, I like to have a brown color. White's way too harsh in my opinion. It's hard on the eyes. You can't get a really great read. I've got the background. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to duplicate a layer. I'm going to hit OK. And this layer is actually, we're going to call it body. BODYBLACK. And you can try to follow along if you want. If you have a Wacom tablet, if you have pencils and paper, I encourage you to do this too for the silhouette. I talked to Nelson a little bit today. He's like, hey, let's design something cool. I'm like, what do you want to design? He's like, I want to design a cyborg thing. I'm like, that's for the sci-fi class. But let's design, because I'm a huge World of Warcraft fan. And no lie, I like to play night elves, especially female night elves, because they look really hot. I'm a dork. But we all knew that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about their orcs. Orcs, they're big, they're strong, and I want to capture that in a silhouette. So I would strongly suggest if you have an ink pen, a Sharpie, go ahead and grab one of those, put me on pause, and get some paper out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start by drawing an outline. And all I'm going to do is scribble, scribble, scribble. I know I want the base of the chest to be big. So this is going to be the chest area right through here. And I know he's got a little waist. Because whenever you draw somebody athletic, they're like in a V-type shape. We'll latissimus dorsi through here. And we got the crotch area right through here. Let me
Here we go, so you guys can see along just a little bit better. I'm going to draw my legs. They're big, they're powerful. I'm going to draw another leg in through here, like this. Literally drawing a circle here and here for where I want my kneecaps to go. And these guys are very much like Epic Games with the big boots. Drawing more circles through here for the leg. Another indicator where the boot is at. What's that? Oh, boot. That's for you, Leonard, because you're Canadian. We're going to draw circles for the arms. I hope Leonard's laughing and not sending hate mail. Indication where the forearms are going to go. Big hands. Circle for the forearms, elbows. Again, big hands. These guys always have huge sort of shoulder pads through here. And what I'm going to do here is bring my brush stroke down just a little bit like this. We'll kind of give them squared off where his head is going to be. Like this. We'll top knot area like this. And then I'm going to make top knot flow in the wind. And let's give them a loincloth because these guys seem to like to... I too like to have a loincloth because it's very liberating, I find. We'll have indicators here where they have furry little things in their legs. And all right, so this new style, itty bitty, you can tell it's biggish. Not for sure what all this is, but in my mind's eye, I can see what I'm doing. And literally all I did was scribble. You're not concerned about fine lines, fine detail, anything like this. Tell you what, though, let's do this. Let's put some... Again, we want to build a strong silhouette, so let's build some of this stuff up through here to where he will have some sort of horns or something on his armor. I like that. Let's build a shoulder muscle a little bit more. Tricep. The belt might go. All right. We have a strong silhouette. All right, questions. Open them up right now.
We did actually get some questions about the zombie, or at least one question, if that's okay. Wolf asks, did you only use a pattern on the zombie's face because you were working fast, or would you still use that as a base in a long drawing?
I always try to use the way I work. This new company I'm working for called Alpha Games. Again, each art director is going to be different. But with him, he gave an archetype. He's like, I need a cat creature, female. So I literally did 3 thumbnails, different poses, different lengths of tails, different lengths of hair. Each one was separate and different, just like we did. Just small indicators, and it was down, it was dirty. He seen my scribbles. I sent that to him. And he's like, I like this out of the 3. And what I did was, I literally took that shape, my indicators, what I drew originally, and put not a mask, but another layer over it. And I used those to build on. It's like, okay, this is what he wants. This is the pose he wants. And all I did was refine. So I would really recommend, if you're going to use poses and stuff like that, start from the very beginning, or if you're going to draw through your character, if his arm's in one position or it's back behind him, still draw that arm even though it's through the body so you get proportions and everything right. It takes a while, but I found that it takes less time to do it right the first time. God bless my mom for saying that. You're not doing anything half-butt. Might as well do it. Anyway, do it right the first time because it saves time.
unless you're like Jim Lee or those guys who've been doing it forever and a day. I'm not to that point yet. I hope to. I hope that all of us are like that. And I hope that answers the question.
Alrighty. And then the next one is Steve's kids want to know if you are going to be showing previous work. I assume that means throughout the course.
Previous work from myself or previous work from our students?
That's a good question. Both? I don't know.
I'm always up to showing my own stuff off, and I always like to have feedback. It helps me grow as an artist, and that's why I encourage you guys to get on the web at 3DBuzz.com and work some progress, show your work, and take feedback. Always be kind, by all means. Don't write, man, this sucks. You can be kind about it. Hey, this needs a little bit of work, but I'm a firm believer if you bring something to the table, you better bring a solution. If you're like, this needs work, well, how does it need work? You may need to say the anatomy, this trap muscle, or the bicep doesn't look like a bicep. Be kind and be, I guess the word I'm looking for, constructive. Don't be cruel. But yeah, I'm all about showing previous work. And I encourage everybody to keep a sketchbook. And again, because you don't have enough to do, Nelson. Maybe one day what we can do is, because I'd really like to do this, is show a lot of the students from 101 their very first monster drawing, and show their progress. Because I don't know if not everyone's got to see them like I have. I've got to see you guys progress from drawing a sphere or lights hitting this and that. Some really cool stuff. There's another group at DeviantArt that has everything on their webpage that has stuff from 3DBuzz. They've made a group there. The best way to learn is from each other. And as a freelance artist at home, I miss it. I wish I was around more creative people. So I love your feedback. And I encourage everybody else to get feedback. So does that answer that?
He says, know their work tonight.
Oh, I would love to. If you guys want to give us our screens, I would love to see that. Can anybody give Nelson the screen?
Yeah, Steve says yep.
Then show me, baby. Show me. Show me the zombie. Show me the zombie. Oh, I guess I've got to do my end here and hit OK. Of course, now Steve wants to show. Steve. You and Sid are too much alike. Did your own thing, but I like it. I like the skinny little waist. He needs to eat more. Baby, the new white meat. Baby back ribs. Anybody else want to see their screen? I like the proportions. You got some cool, good stuff going on there.
This is his son Tyler's.
Nice, Tyler. I really like the skinny waist. Who did this? Is that a Sydney thing? Because I can tell from the feet.
He says it's Chelsea's.
Chelsea, rock on, girl. You do this in 5 minutes? Look at that hand, the detail in the hand. You should teach a class. I love the tail. I love the hunchback. Remember when I was talking about being an art director, like mine was too static? Yours is dynamic. I like that. Well done. And she's got clothes on, too. So that is cool.
Nice.
Now, who did this one?
Looks like Chelsea again, based off the file name.
Oh, duh. Chelsea, you guys are like kicking some serious butt. Well done. I don't care what your dad says about you. I think you're awesome. I'm teasing. Your dad loves you. What else do we got to show? I love the circles in the eyes. If you look at the shading, because not every drawing is going to be deep black. I love the gradient style. We can tell it's based in shadow, then we can tell there's greater depth in his right eye. Look at the screen, his left eye. That was really well done. I like the jawline, the teeth coming out. And I like that you guys are free thinkers. We got a baseline that we all kind of built off of, and you did your own thing. That's nice. Well done. Anybody else?
Yeah, anyone else? I think somebody said something.
And by all means, don't judge yourself by other people. Show me your work. Show others your work. Some of us have been in it for a very long time. Some of us, just now starting picking up pencils and Wacom tablets. So don't judge yourself by other people's work. Push yourself to be a better artist for yourself. Does that make sense?
Looks like Leonard has his.
Show me, Leonard. Show me.
And there's my screen, if you can see it.
I can see it, dude. Man, you've come a long way, Leonard. You're not using the mouse still, are you?
No, that's on the Wacom.
Rock on.
Quickly scribbled. And,
I'm proud of you.
this is just where I was catching up. Because I was way behind because I had to get Photoshop working.
I like it. You followed along well. You can definitely tell there's a stronger lighting source on the right-hand side, or his left. I like the little blood indicators, the rotten flesh. You're doing great, man. He's got a lot of teeth, and he's not pretty.
Yeah.
Well done, dude. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Derek.
Quite welcome, sir.
Alrighty, anybody else? Go ahead and just raise your hand if you want us to switch over. Ashley is, of course, her hand goes down. But Jane's hand goes up.
Hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you.
Hello?
Look at that. Well done. That's some good skin texture there. I like that. I love the eye. Seriously, some good muddied skin, yucky texture. Dude's been dead for a while. So let me ask you a question. Has it been easy to follow along? Because I'm throwing a lot at you guys tonight.
Well, I have to concentrate. That's for sure.
So you can't chew gum and draw at the same time?
No. Nope. Not yet.
Not yet, but it will come in time.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Thanks.
Seriously, is this... And,
Eric. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause.
your silhouette strong, man. I mean, just to follow along. Isn't scribbling this... Seriously, even with a Sharpie, it's so much easier to get the shapes that you want because it's a solid black shape. There's really no right or wrong.
It's more forgiving. Yeah.
Thank you. That is a great word. It is more forgiving.
Yeah.
And all this is about simple shapes. So really well done. I like the guy's waist. I can tell he's got a belt. I got some spikes in the armor. I can see some fur going on. Well done.
Thanks.
Quite welcome.
Alrighty, looks like
Who's next, Space Monkeys?
looks like Ray has his hand up.
That is a nice silhouette. Really nice silhouette. You got your zombie?
I erased.
Well, poop on a cracker. That's not a real thing. Don't ever put poop on a cracker unless it's poop light. Or if you put, I don't believe it tastes like poop, then it's good. That's a throwback to Triumph the Wonder Dog. He's Canadian. Leonard should know that. Anybody else? I like it. I can tell the indications of where the armor's at, where the shoulder pad's at, his loincloth. You're doing good. And she was totally right. These silhouettes, they are unforgiving, which is nice. So literally you can just doodle all day long, different shapes, and make all sorts of different sizes and creatures. And what I'm going to show you here in a minute is how to go back and define everything using color. So well done.
Alright, it looks like there's actually another Steve Curtis in the class with his hand up. So
What?
I guess it's on a different computer currently. So I'm going to switch over to him.
Nice. The whole family's got that hinged leg down thing really well. I sound pretty sexy.
I can actually talk on this one.
How you doing, man?
Not too bad. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I have a Cyborg type computer setup going now, but
I like it. Again, you guys have the hinged leg thing down. It's dynamic. She's howling.
it used to drive me nuts, so I spent a lot of time on it.
When Zach wanted me to design all these aliens with hinged legs, I'm like, what? Yeah, when they're bending down, they look weird. But those are some really good hinged legs. I'm proud of you on that. I like the indication of the hand. The tail's good. It's a very nice dynamic pose. Well done.
Yeah, I had about 2 minutes, and then it was, I need 2 computers running, and I have to switch scanners between computers. And
The daddy's job is never done.
Yeah, that ended Dad's drawing for the night right there.
We did good, dude. I'm proud of you. It's really cool that you got the whole family drawing, too.
Well, not all of them yet, but we're working on it.
I'm working on it. Good. How's Sid doing? Is she in class tonight?
No, she isn't. We texted her. She didn't know about this. She's like, we're like, it's going on right now. She's like, what?
That's my fault. We'll get the word out better next time. So tell her I didn't like her and she stinks and she eats poop, and that's why she wasn't invited.
Actually,
Okay.
in BuzzNet, she just said she's here.
Oh, she's here.
I take it all back. That was not me. That was so not me. I have no idea. So I'm just going to do what the politicians say. I did not say that about Sydney. And everyone's going to believe me. Well done. Get her to draw. You have a very talented family. Very talented.
Indeed they are.
All right, rock on. Who's next?
Looks like that's about it, but there was another question from Wolf.
Okay.
He says, is the last drawing just a silhouette, or would you do something like this to get the shape instead of doing it with the line and then start painting on details?
Mr. Wolf, a great transition, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. The robot I first had on my screen, that was exactly what I did. I just drew the shape, and then I started making indicators. And if you notice up through here, I have different swatches that I have. And so I'm going to go back to my background. That's originally where they're at. And I'm going to take this one, and we're always going to do light to dark, okay? I'm going to take this area here, hit my brush, and I really want to be careful. I'm really going to take my opacity down, and I'm going to start coming in here with indicators. I'm going to come back up here to this layer like this. Now, if I do this right, Mr. Nelson may need to, correct me, but I'm going to duplicate this layer here. Duplicate the layer. And then I'm going to make this my multiply layer. Everything got dark, that's good. Coming back to my body black layer, and again I'm going to duplicate. I'll duplicate. Come over here like this to make a layer. And I'm going to call this light mid. So I'm going to work on this here in between my body style here. Because if I take this off, I still have my multiple layer. So I'm working on my light mid layer through here. I've got my color selected. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with a very light opacity. Make sure you can see it. Obviously, I need to bump up my opacity a little bit. Mr. Nelson, why is this not working?
It could quite possibly be because you have a layer on top, all the way at the top.
Multiple layers should be on top.
Right, but did you hit multiply on the copy?
Hold on. Again, ladies and germs, I apologize. I am not a Photoshop guru by any means. Let's get rid of this thing here. Come on, work with me, computer. There we go. Excuse the technical difficulties. Call this black here again. Now, what did you say, Mr. Nelson?
When you were painting earlier, you were painting on a layer lower than the body black.
Gotcha. Well, the reason being I wanted different layers so we can do blurs and all that sort of stuff. Tell you what, let's just do this for tonight. I'm going to duplicate this layer. Let's see if I can paint on top of this. And I still can't. Alright, so hey, this is why we're doing this live, so I can get my crap together for the sci-fi class. And we'll just go ahead and paint on top of this, and we'll just be careful. It would help if I had a color selected. And here we go, one more time. All right, obviously the face we're going to want the most detail in because everyone always reads the face. But I don't want to get bogged down in details. But let's say that this side through here is where some of the shadows are going to be. So let's start making... I can't believe this, Nelson. This is not a good night.
Well, you have that layer body black that's over.
Yeah, thank you. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Let's just erase that whole time right there. I'm going to take my opacity down again. Sid, I hear you laughing. That's not funny. And she is. Let's come up through here. All we're going to do is make... This is going to be his forehead, okay? And through here like this. Bridge line. For the eyes, let's do some cheekbones in through here like this. Part of his lips. Place where the ears are going to go. And coming back here, all we're doing is painting really light indicators of where everything's going to go at. So I'm going to bump this up through here, believing the painting light to dark first. Indicators where the chest is going to go.
Ooh,
pectoral.
While you're working on that real fast, I want to answer a question that Wolf just posted, which might be a good thing to point out. I know this isn't a Photoshop class, but he was asking about the thing that allowed you to pick a color where the wheel popped up. You can get that if you have your brush tool selected and you hold down Alt. So that should be available on as many versions of Photoshop I've worked with. So I just wanted to answer that question real fast.
Cool. Again, let's do Joe Six-Pack through here. Indicators are where some of the muscle mass is going to go. So the leg muscles are going to go. And we can talk about leg muscles all in an anatomy class because there's like a ton of them. Already, the small silhouette that we've done, we've already started to, you can tell it's broke up. We can tell there's some cool stuff going on through here. So let's push it even further. And again, I'm going to take my color tool, move to the next screen, hit my brush tool like this. I need to really, really shrink this area right through here. Making the nose. I've got a nose. No, you don't. Yes, you do. I've got several big noses. Shut up, big nose. Stop that. See, Nelson, this is where you need to stop me.
No, I was just letting you have fun.
Okay. So ideally what I want to do is what I did before. So I take all these different colors, they're on different layers. I hit the blur tool. Let's see if we'll do this. It's on the same layers. And anyway, let's do an experiment, shall we? Filter. To blur.
Showing everyone a magic trick.
We're going to try blur. Bullocks. And I feel flat. My blur. Gaussian blur. What I want to do is if it's right through here, not a lot of blending, but if I start to mush it through here, you can really do some really cool things if they're saved on separate layers. But that did not work out for me tonight because I failed epically. Let's continue, shall we? Yes, we shall. Thank you, Derek, very much. All right, coming through here. Indicators of where is latissima dorsi, and there we go. More of where is latissima dorsi, and there we go. It's coming through here. Big clavicle area. And such. Now, again, if I bring this back here, even with our strong silhouette, we're starting to see some really cool shapes. Any questions so far? I mean, are you guys able to follow along how easy this is? It's quick and it's fast and it's easy. And once we start to learn to, your instructor especially, can show you how to get on the different layers to blur things and then to make I guess different objects that we can make separately. We can render them, put them back into Photoshop in different layers. This is a very cool, powerful tool. All right. So we got one more green we're going to mess with. Let me take it up here. I got my green right here, and I got my brush selected. It's going to come up here. Let's get a feathering like brush. Let's bring in. If you look at a chest, you have three different striations. You have the top layer right here. You have the middle layer that comes through here like this. You have the bottom layer. And the less body fat you have, the more you can see that. Now, if you look really close up, it looks like a bunch of dots. It's almost like pointillism. But you start to come back, you're starting to see where you want things to read. That's the main thing I want to get to you guys today, to show you the power of the silhouette and how quickly you can render some really cool things out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come back up here. We're going to switch tasks a little bit. Let's use this orange color right here. Get my brush tool. And we're going to color his loincloth in a little bit. Let's give us a good read here where it comes up and around. Color this in. Color his gauntlets in. Let's go ahead and do the same thing to the boots down here. And the thing I don't like is the shape of his head, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. Take this color swatch right here, hit my brush button, and I'm going to slowly take us up like this here. Give more of the look that I want. All right, so I need to select my green again because I want to get an ear in there. Let's make it a little bit darker. B for brush. Bring this down here like this. Again. And we pull back. It's a strong, super quick rendering. And the other thing we can do is so we can use our red while we're here because we have it out. Hit this here. Indicate that there's some breakage up through here, some bands in this area right through here where the belt's at. Let's do some cool scribes on, like, this says eat it Domino's. And we'll do some straps through here like this. A different color to make things pop. And last but not least, trick for this quick rendering. I'm getting my eraser tool like this. And because we know hair is this solid black like that, what we can do is come in through here.
We can start to etch things out to make them pop. This is where learning anatomy is really nice to have. You can just come in here and make these basic shapes again and again and again. And from a very simple silhouette, messing and mucking around the colors, you can get a really nice feel and an idea that you can present something and say, hey, this is a quick color swatch. What do you think? And then they can say, once it's saved in layers, I don't like this. This needs to be more green. This needs to be more red. But again, today, whole, I guess, workshop, what I wanted to show you guys is how to work really fast. When you draw that face, like Wolf was asking, should you do all that? Yeah, because what you can do is you can save it. I mean, if I still had that layer saved, we could go back and turn that zombie guy into a superhero, because we have our base to work from. It's quick. It's bam. It's bam. If you're under pressure, it's unforgiving. Get your Sharpie out, make indicators, make the silhouettes. And from there, for nice color swatches that you could literally just go over and over and over again, present 10 to 15 different ideas in a matter of an hour by doing something like that. And now you have the shape, you have a silhouette to start working from. And you have basic colors to say, okay, I like this, or your director will say, I like this, or I don't like this, let's change this. So tonight's, I guess, epic thing I wanted to get through first is how to work really fast. But I like it. It's a nice, quick, easy thing to do, and anyone can do it. So let's open it up for questions, and I want to see your guys' screens.
All right, we have one question. Is there a name for this style of minimal line painting that only seems to indicate stuff but not really render it smoothly?
I have no idea what that it is. Definitely a style, because I've seen a lot of concept art. It's like for crowds. This would be great for crowds. You shrink them down, you throw them in there. It's just a blur. I know what you're talking about. I just don't know the name of the style.
Alrighty. So, yeah. Any more questions? Anyone? Because if there's not, I suppose, go ahead and raise your hand if you want us to jump over. And I understand if you have already been made a presenter, you can't raise your hand. So, I don't know, post in the questions panel or something if you want us to hop over onto your screen. And silence.
Oh, come on. Anybody. For the horde.
All right, Leonard.
All right, Leonard's got cojones. Let me see what you got, Leonard. Nice. Look at that quick style. You got volume in it. I like it.
Which probably
what do you think?
There we go.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, I'm muted now.
So what do you think? Seriously, this quick, down and dirty style.
I'm quite happy with it. It works really well.
It
And I actually
does.
got something that looks like something instead of totally scary.
And again, in the sci-fi class, I'll make sure all my ducks in a row, but I'm going to go in layers. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Photoshop and how we can use the filter tools to help blend and blur things together. And we're going to take our time. It's not going to be like challenge this. We're really going to take our time on a lot of different stuff. But I'm really proud of you, man. You've got volume. I love the gauntlets that you got on there. Really well done.
Thank you.
Quite welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Who's
So
next?
I'll learn how to do ducks.
Alrighty.
He's quackers.
There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of people asking or posting in the questions panel. I'm going to switch over back to you just for now.
Roger that.
People.
All right, so I mean, we can go in here, and I know it's past time, but we can refine this even more. It's saving in layers and all that, but suppose our light source again is through here. So ideally, all this side and through here is going to be a lighter green than this side, right? So, I mean, you can literally do all sorts of tons of things. I mean, to make it cheap, and again, down and dirty, get your burn tool out. And start just going over things. You also mess with layers. Your levels and tones. A lot of times, like, well, how do you get that to look really cool? I literally come up through here, and I think it's a sickness. And I think everybody here who does this probably has the same thing. Like, I wonder what it looks like inverted. Oh no, that sucks. But every now and then it's a really cool image. So hit it. Step backwards. Then you can come back in here with Photoshop or whatever program that you're using, and you go to your image adjustments. You can play with hues. Whenever I save stuff in layers, it's easy to, like, okay, I got this guy here, copy, paste, throw him up, and then I can come in here and start messing with different hues on him. And again, usually this would be on a separate layer, so only he would be affected, not the entire thing. But you can see how easy that is for a good read. Do you want your guy to look like that? It's a very powerful tool that the only way to learn it is to play around with it.
Alrighty, we did have a question come in. Would you ever start like this if you were doing concept art? And then if your employer liked it, would you keep rendering it over to make it look really rendered? Or would you just start over with a new one to render it better?
That's a really good question. I really guess the question is, how complex is it? The thing that would worry me is, like, okay, my art director's like, yeah, I like this. Let's push it more. I'm afraid, if I started over, how much of that style would I lose in what he or she likes? And again, the art director, your client, is always right. I would save the base, like if this was the be-all, this little orc thing we have in front of you right here, and he's like, I love it, let's continue with this. I'd save that as a separate file, open it up under a different name, and then I'd start rendering out again more and more detail. And if that didn't work, I go back from the very first thing where I just drew it all by hand, scan, or all digitally. But originally, if this is what your client likes, I'd start working with this image, and hopefully that will be faster. Now, there's other workflows too. I mean, you could literally make another layer, take your time, and sketch it all out. Make another layer, and then make a base layer on top of that, like we did with the human face, and go back in for lots of detail and just keep this as a color swatch. I guess it really boils down to, what do you feel comfortable? Because there's just so many different workflows. As long as you get your client happy, that's the main thing, because you don't want to redo things over and over and over again, because it wastes your time and wastes their time. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I had to learn to do tiles for a mobile game. They're like, oh, your monsters are great. They're doing animations. It's blah, blah. It's awesome. Like, can you do tiles for the floor? So I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And I literally had to redo this tile 5 times before I got it right. And each time I did it was a different workflow. Okay, no, that didn't work this time. I need to do it this time. And that happens. If you're on a new project or something that's new to you, it's going to take a while for you to hit your stride and find your workflow. You just have to keep at it. Anybody else?
Alrighty, it looks like that's about it for questions.
Let me do one last thing, and hold on, file open. Hey, look, it's me. I'm staring at you. Hold on. Let's find a good one here. Use this one. All right, originally, this is my pencil drawing. This is what I did for colors.
and the shirt was saved in a different layer, the pants was a different layer, the skin tones were saved in a different layer. And I literally just like, okay, just give them a different look because it's supposed to be a sci-fi thing. I didn't know how feline this client wanted it to look, so I literally, saved these two images out, reopened this in a new name, and then I had tons of layers through here. And I just started messing with layers or the filters or the tones. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cute. That's kind of cool. So I gave the client, originally I gave him 3 different cat looks. This is the cat look that he chose. And then from that, I gave him 2 different things to look at from colors. And he chose this one. So that was my workflow on that project. But again, every project is different. So you're going to hit different strides and different things. So you just got to experiment. And the best thing to do is draw. That's it.
More question. Do you find that doing the silhouette-based style is faster for you than just using lines?
Well, to tell you the truth, I've only done the silhouette style probably about 5 to 6 times. If I'm creating a brand new monster, like I had to do for this game app thing, I did probably 10 to 20 of these little things at one setting because the way the client described it to me, I'm not really for sure what I want. And this and that. Then you're going back to saving time. Those silhouettes are super easy. I'm like, okay, this is the shape. Is this how big you want it? How muscular you want this creature to look like? And it did save a lot of time. My personal workflow from then, like, okay, I got the personal shapes in my head. I know anatomy. I got the shapes the client wants with that silhouette. And then I'll take the silhouette and I'll throw it on my light table. In my light table, I can start doing all sorts of cool things with it. It just really depends what you need to do. Or put it in layers and, you mask it out and you filter things so you can see the black. It's just, there's so many different ways to get to the end result. It really depends on who you are and who you're working for and what your deadline is.
Alrighty.
Anybody else?
No, it doesn't look like it.
All right, guys, this is a workshop. This is what workshops are going to kind of look like. My hopes is we get a lot more people and a lot more participation. What I would love for you guys to do is PM me at 3DBuzz and let me know what you guys want to work on for a workshop and let me kind of create something. It's not going to be like a class it's a class. I want to be there to throw out art challenges. I want to be there to answer questions. And this is a time and place to experiment on workshops. Now, this is going to be a lot different than our class, because, in the past, you guys had a lot more hands-on. And I know you guys like drawing along. That's why I want to push you guys. I want you guys to follow along and draw. And, of course, we're going to take your screens and we're going to make fun of you and kick you while you're down and celebrate you while you do cool things like Leonard Dead. So again, I encourage you guys to PM me at 3DBuzz. Let me know what you guys want to work on so I can kind of build some things up. And then classes will be starting. When is that, Nelson? 2 Fridays from now?
Yeah, I think I had that scheduled in for the 8th of February.
Yes, 8th of February. And if we get enough people interested, we'll do another workshop. And I'm interested in doing a female face and some cool things like that. And I love drawing monsters. And again, sci-fi is all geared towards robots, spaceships, and armor. What will be nice is in some of the workshops we can kick around some anatomy. So when we get to the sci-fi class, we can, if I say I want to concentrate on armor for an arm, you guys know that the deltoid has 3 striations, the biceps 2, then your flexor muscles are in your forearms. You render this out really quick and how to make a hand. Then from there, we'll save a separate layer where you use tracing paper if you're doing it by hand, and then you can build your armor on top of that. And we can talk about what different armors are going to look like. If it's going to be organic armor, if it's going to be a hard-based armor, it's going to be fun.
Alrighty.
Guys, thanks for spending your time with me tonight, and Mr. Nelson, I appreciate you.
Yeah. So I think that just about wraps things up.
That does. Thank you guys very much. You guys have a good night. PM me, The Crow on the Buzz, or email me at stevensd71@gmail.com for all your questions and comments. Thank you very much, guys, and have a great night.
Yep. See ya.